You got to give kudos, first of all, to Jalisco New Generation because they have mastered the ability to form alliances and then absorb groups underneath it. And actually, I was thinking of this example. I was like, holy shit, this is how they can do it with Los Chapitos. Look at the metros in the Gulf Cartel, right? So the Gulf Cartel had a civil war. You had Scorpion Group out of Matamoros, which borders Brownsville. You had the metros in Reynosa, which borders McAllen, Texas. Violent civil war. Here comes Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Managed to leverage Primito, the leader of Los Metros, who everybody historically viewed as the leader of a Gulf Cartel faction. And they formed an alliance, this Gulf Cartel faction, the Metros formed an alliance with Jalisco New Generation. And so the key alliance there was Los Metros, and then another group called the Old School Zetas, or the Zetas Viejas Escuelas, had an alliance then with CG&G in the violent war they had against Grupo Escorpión, until recently there was a ceasefire, and then CDN, right? Well, the Treasury Department, in its sanctions against Primito, basically said Primito is not a leader of a Gulf Cartel faction. He is CG&G's leader in Tamaulipas. And I think that could be an interesting dynamic of how they do it with Ivan Archibaldo, is following, look at Primito, and then you follow that same model, you can now follow it with Ivan Archibaldo. And that's how an alliance can then become a leader. So it's almost to the point where Ivan Archibaldo can become, because he has no other choice, or because he needs it to survive, to become the CG&G leader in Sinaloa, where now CG&G has control of Culiacan. I mean, that's an insane statement. But if you look at the Primito example, you can see a very similar story developing with Ivan Archibaldo. And I think time will tell if that happens. And then the other question is, well, how long does Ivan Archibaldo have? Because clearly the Mexican federal government is after him. They were very close in capturing him. And I think that's kind of the next thing. So then who does El Mencho then identify within the remnants of Los Chapitos to be that Plaza Bar? Could it be Jesus Alfredo? Because Jesus Alfredo is a very weak man. Let's be real. So then if Ivan Archibaldo falls, doesn't Jesus Alfredo become in charge of Los Chapitos because of El Mencho's backing, because he has the fighters? But then he tells Jesus Alfredo, on paper, you're Los Chapitos, and your propaganda say you're Chapitos, Sinaloa cartel, viva El Chapo. But Jesus Alfredo, you're my guy in Sinaloa. And to be honest, Jesus Alfredo is probably going to take it. And the ultimate irony of all this, El Mencho kidnapped, way back years ago, kidnapped Jesus Alfredo. And it took El Chapo and Mayos Zambada direct negotiation to have them freed. And now you can run into a situation where it's very possible where Jesus Alfredo follows a similar footstep as Primito, or even Ivan Archibaldo himself follow a very similar footstep and then become the CG&G leaders of Sinaloa.